Okay, good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching doing the live market preview for the 10th of May. Looks like we're going to have a pretty interesting day. Let's see. ES is down 16 points. NQ is only down 45 points. Nothing disastrous about that. And CL's bordering on break even. So let's go through, get the charts knocked out, posted, and then the trade plan is pretty much the same as the video I posted to the members room yesterday afternoon, guys. I'm looking for the turns on the oscillator, and I will be working back from that. Let me do something here real quick. Here, this. So let's move this over here. Do this like this. And I wonder which is the primary and which is the secondary. And we'll find out in just 1 second. Hold on 1 sec. Quick little work of this. Okay. Um, okay, that's one done. And hold on 1 second here. There we go. And okay, let's see this real quick here. NQ profile. Nope, that's not it. Now I have the answer that I was looking for. Okay, now let's go do NQ, ES, and figure out how we're going to make some money today by first finding the key locations. Just real quick before I get started, forget about this. Past performance is not indicative of future results. I'm basically sharing my trade plan with you in hopes that it makes you a better trader. However, I do not recommend anybody follow me blindly. It can lead to significant losses, actually. So I have a process that I follow. Usually it makes me a pretty good chunk of change. Sometimes it loses me money. There's significant risk in trading futures and trading with leverage. Make sure that you're qualified and that you understand the risk, and most importantly, that you have a stop loss plan. And then lastly, I'm looking for specific setups, right? So I'm not trying to capture every move or every turn. And sometimes I just don't have the mental energy to capture, even when I get my setups to capture them, right? So that's why I try to, particularly in the one-on-one coaching, teach people how to capture those trades for themselves so that they have a good idea of what they're looking for through the course of the day. So let's get started with that NQ. First, these are yesterday's NQ levels. I wanted to show you all this before we jump in and change everything. That's the 5-minute chart, right? And you can see we opened up, the yellow zones are key areas, right? We opened up underneath resistance, backside tested, rejected, rolled down to the next support area, counter rotated, right, for a few points, came underneath. We just missed that 74, 78 and a quarter. Like, I think there's about a point in there that it missed by. Counter rotated back up. This is an old swing low, the red line, trapped back above, backside tested the support resistance zone, rejected out of the support resistance zone 2 times, and then rotated back up to the prior day's low where we closed things out. And now you can see we're trading back down about the mid of yesterday's range. Okay, so now let's go tear that chart apart by fixing it. And we will do that like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, Those stay, actually, believe it or not. It looks like we tagged it, but we didn't. We missed by a hair. Green. Notice that there is no Dalton's Gap on that chart. It turns to a white zone, actually. Yellow. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Notice that if we get above 76.68, this flips to yellow. And so the bottom one's still light blue. Why? Because this is the one we want to hold against, but this whole area, that 76.40 to 76.68, is pretty key, because if we get above it, there's a big fat stretch where there's really nothing in the way of getting up to 77.55. You want to put that in your notes if you're trading, right? Above 76.68 and holding, 75.55 is the upside target, followed by 7,800. Okay, underneath we had a double distribution day. So this area is the point of control, the TPO and the volume point of control should be choppy there when we get into that area. I don't like to trade in that area without some kind of just completely separate setup other than it's that location. This, on the other hand, I really like, right? And then there's a little minor anomaly right in here. But it's weak. And then the other thing I would keep in mind is the mid of yesterday's range. And that's right in this area right in here. I'm going to highlight it like this. Okay, so now that whole area right in there becomes very interesting to see if they can hold it, right? So what that translates to is this. Right, all the other levels are valid. There's nothing to change. So that translates to this being the 50-60. And then if we go look, so we can get an idea of how they treated those areas by looking at the overnight, right? So if we shift to the overnight, which again, I consider all these zones fresh as soon as we open. If we flip over to the overnight, okay, so that's how we traded last night. And you can see we've held that 50-60 all night long. You can see how we've chopped around. See how the blue zones, how we've chopped through those blue zones. They did reject and they did act as support and resistance, but they did chop. This is a key area. This is a key area. And then, of course, they're just holding the 50-60 so far. And I would suspect if we hold that 50-60, so what I'd like to see in the open is to come down, get into that 75-20, 75-10, get back over, backside test the 50-60, hold, then come up and test that 76-60. I'm actually not very bearish at all. I think we probably, my guess is up. If I had to guess, we've had a couple of down days after going straight up. It's usually pretty healthy when we get that set up to the downside. When we get pushed down like that, my guess is that they will attempt at some point to push to the upside. So that's what the chart looks like. Then I remove the overnight and I post the chart up for everyone to use. So it looks like this. Edit. There it is. There we go. File. Save as JPEG. How am I doing on time? All right. Thank you. Close that down. Come over here to the Slack channel. Post it up in the Slack channel, and I'll also put that on Twitter. Let's see. Okay, and that made it. And then we post one more time. to okay, there we go. And then we go do ES. What does this say? Okay. Hold on one sec. Let's do something here. Okay, well, that'll get fixed when it's ready to be fixed. So now we take this, drag it over to my other screen, and I would suggest the same thing with every person out there, right? Which is do not, right? Do not trade without having your eye on the 5-minute chart. Let's go do CL really quick since it's already open, then we'll do ES. So we'll minimize this. We'll find CL. Okay, here's CL. Before we do CL, here's the 5-minute from CL yesterday, right? And again, you'll see we opened up inside of, right? We opened up inside of a key location, right? Hold on a second here. Let me close these charts down. There we go. We opened up inside of a key location yesterday, right? That's 8 a.m. Rolled down, tested prior. Why does that not look like swing low? Why is that chart messed up? Let's see something here real quick. Hold on a second. Maybe because I didn't do it on this chart. I did it on another chart. So I have the answer to that. CL. No worries. We'll just fix it. Hold on a second here. Let's go correct this chart. Okay. I did it off the other screen. Where is? Now I've lost it completely. That's horrible. Hold on one second here. Okay, we'll kill this. We'll kill this. Do not know why. CL 18, chart settings, advanced settings, 18. Nope. So you go too. Yes. And we'll try it one more time. There we are. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, plan B. I can do this. Hold on a second here. Chart Duplicate chart. Chart settings. 10 days. Okay. Chart. Never a problem we cannot fix. Chart. There we go. Where'd you fly away to? There it is. Flip that over here. And then that is chart number 18. Chart settings, advanced settings. 18, okay. I don't understand. Hold on one sec. Ah, there we are. Okay, now I can clean all this up. First of all, see that cluster? That's 5 days of balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of balance. Remember, it gets harder and harder to trade while we're building energy. And this is building energy. So see this chart right here? See how we had no volume here? It's filling in the volume that we didn't have, right? So you get above this, push up. You get below this, then if you get below, come down and test the structure up here. If you get above, come up and test the structure up above, and it's repairing this part of the chart. Everyone should just understand that from a basic volume profile standpoint. And if you don't get that, then you don't understand how the market works, right? Because the market's just a mechanism for filling in volume and checking up on prices, essentially, right? So with that being said, let's erase all these lines. Why in the heck is this chart cancel? Ah, that would be why. There we go. Okay, so now I just don't understand. I literally duplicated this chart and it's not duplicating the information over. Chart 18, erase all lines. Yes. Okay, so now if I do this. Okay, there we go. So let's fix this up really quick. And then for those who aren't familiar, I don't trade the first 30 minutes. I'll let someone else handle the madhouse unless I'm prepared, which I'm apparently not going to be today, right? High, low, swing high. Swing low. Okay, so you might want to put a big old note in this whole thing. This whole thing's just a mosh pit, right? It's hard to pick a particular level out. This is a valid location. Anytime you have the naked volume point of control, naked TPO point of control, this is a valid location down here, right? That's the easy stuff to pick off. Let's go take a careful look inside. So in case something insane happens, you just want to have these marked off so you know where the support resistance areas are. And see how these are way separated? Okay, they become light blue, even though they're more than a day old. Why? Because when you have the volume point of control and the TPO point of control separated, that tells you something funky was up with that particular day. See how there's no volume there? That's why you don't want a yellow zone there. There actually was okay volume here, and that's because that's the volume point of control. But then we didn't spend much time there. So I don't like to go back and forth and decide who's right, the TPO guys versus the volume profile guys. So I don't. This actually is what I would pick out for a yellow zone. If I had to pick out anything, why it's on a stretch, it's a settle price, which I normally don't care about, but it's the furthest reach up and it's the last anomaly. It's not a white zone because it's not a really good anomaly, but that's the location. Here's the old swing high. Okay, and that's the upstairs part. That's already been tested. No, 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 no. Yes. Those are my children that you hear upstairs. I am patiently waiting for my house to be built. And I sold my other house, so I'm stuck in apartment hell for the moment. And I didn't feel like driving a long distance to an office since I have a perpetual difficulty of being on time anywhere. Volume point of control, TPO point of control. Those become light blue areas. Again, hard to pick off, so I would rely on something else. They just, sometimes they respond right out of them, sometimes they just don't. And then underneath, the problem is if you get underneath here, we can clean this up a little bit. There we go. And there's another anomaly right there. See, it's just all crap. Look at that. It's just all stacked up on top of each other. And you can, all those blue areas can get traded through. That's what I would lean on if I was leaning on anything. Plus the day's 50-60, which if you look from, since we closed at the high, this actually makes up the 50-60 right there. If I was going to lean on anything, that's what I'd want to lean on. Underneath, I'm not going to go through and break those down unless they start really posting, but unless we start really ripping into that area, then I'll go take a closer look. But that's pretty much it. And we're stuck in balance, and we're not gapping down, nor are we trending down beforehand. So I'm not going to do a lot of work down here because it just doesn't look like we're going to break today. Looks like we're going to balance. And that becomes this, right? And you can see that's a total mess, right? So if we get above 62, I'll do the work, but is there just nothing above 62? No, is the answer to that question. There was not. There's a settle price there they might hang their hat on, but there just wasn't an anomaly. So that ends up looking like this, a 5-minute chart. So we'll spread that out a bit. And I'm hoping we get tested down to that 60-20. And again, I think if we get over this area, I guess this little lip, you might want to mark off the 62-20. But if we can hold above that anomaly, you have a lot of room to the upside there. And you can kind of see it's a funky trend line, but that's kind of your trend line right there on top of that. So anyways, that's what I'm going to go with. I'll save as JPEG. CL510. Save. And it's been a long, long week. I will get these done in the evening for the most part. CL4 Friday. And okay, that's posted now to Twitter and StockTwits. And now we'll go do NQ. Again, I'll have this stored down over here on my lower screen. And see how we're just zipping, if you look, if you copied those levels, we're just zipping straight through that blue area. It's just a hard area to freaking trade in, right? It's not good. It's not bad. It's just what it is. And finally, let's do ES really quick. Where is my ES chart? ES profile chart. Ha, there you go. So unmodified, this is what yesterday looked like, right? And you can see we opened up. I posted this up already. Okay, we opened up, we came into the first support resistance, we overshot it a little bit, became resistance, right? Got underneath, became resistance, rolled down to the next support resistance area, counter rotated back up to the next yellow zone, counter rotated back down, tested, consolidated, trap shorts, got back above, right? Where we got the point of control above here, backside tested. And then you'll see how that blue zone can just get tested? It is support. See how they come back on the backside, right? And buy it. It just can get traded through easily. That's all it means, right? Versus here, I'm willing to lean on these levels pretty hard, right? So that being said, let's go do our work. Yes. Okay. And we will annihilate everything here. You can see we're trading right in the middle of prior day's value right now at 28.58. That is immediately, and include that. That I would expect a response from the first time. It's a double distribution, but it's a separated TPO point of control. Shit. This whole thing is also valid. I'm just going to say on these two, I'm going to put it there because of how big the distributions are there. But look for a setup in both those cases. This is weak. Okay. It's valid, but it's weak. Which just means I have no idea whether they'll accept it, reject it, trade underneath, what they'll do. You can see we opened right above. I would hope for a test down in this location. The mid of that, prior day's high. Prior day's low. Okay, let's see this area up here, see what we're going to do. Okay, that's the volume point of control. There's no anomaly there. It is a valid location. So I dash it, meaning it should be good, but it's not as strong as if they were both together. However, that's a big chunk of volume. So see this is where I want to pit the zone up here. See how this whole distribution is kind of equal, this anomaly with all this volume? That's what I want, and I'm going to make this one weak. It's really that whole area is valid, right? But if I'm going to take a shot, I'd rather take a shot up here where it's really stretched, right? 28.63, 28.92. It's almost 30 points of stretch up into this area, right? Then you have this last little lip. I'm not going to do anything with that. Let me see what's above here. This is a blue zone because there's volume. There's no anomaly there. It's just, there's just volume there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to dash that out so I know. I'm going to delete this. This is valid. This is a hole in the profile if we get up there, and I'm not going to worry about this up here. That's a valid location, 29.44, but we better have some pretty spectacular news underneath. I think I've got this whole area, 28.19 to 28.13 is a valid area. That's why I have it. That whole thing is good, right? And then the mid of yesterday, wow, my daughter is screaming at the top of her lungs. I'm not exactly sure why. And then just keep up with the idea that right behind this blue zone is this 50-60. There's nothing there besides the 50-60. There's no reason for me to put a zone, but it is the mid of the prior day. And hold on just 1 second. Let me post this. Actually, I'll just let my wife handle it. even though she's stressing me out letting my daughter scream like that, but that's fine. And so that translates into this right here. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to go upstairs and see if my wife needs any help, because living in an apartment kind of sucks after you've been in a house for so many years. So I'm going to post this and I'm going to help her instead, because my daughter, they have twins, and Eden is on a tear. And if I miss a trade because of it, then I miss a trade. 0510. Yes. Save. And yes, for Friday. That's posted. And I will be right back, guys. Let me get these charts squared away here real quick. Again, if you didn't see the video I posted yesterday afternoon, I would take the time to go look at it. So there's ES. That's on a 1.5 range bar. All right. Here's NQ, 5 range bar. Thanks, Randy. So if you haven't seen it, I'd go back and look at it. It's pretty much perfectly exactly what I want to get done. And I will be right back. Thank you, Randy. And hold on, let me reset this so it automatically updates. I'd short that bar if I were not going upstairs right now. So with a stop right at the high. Reset. Reset. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry for being gone. All the children are in the Bucks are in the car, and we are doing what we do. So number one, let's just go see if there's any econ before I forget about that. This and like I said, I'm not actually all that bearish at all, and I would not be shocked by seeing news today at all. We have 9 a.m. FOMC member Williams speaks. There is no econ. 2 o'clock federal. No, that's got to be no. 2 o'clock federal budget balance. 1 o'clock. So 1 Central, 2 Eastern, 9 a.m. There is no econ. Really, just the FOMC. Let's see. We had Brainerd at 7:30. I said that correct. And Williams at 9 a.m. So we'll see what it is that they have to say. Obviously, I would not be shocked to see commentary from various members of Chinese and or U.S. government make comments. And let me do one more thing here. Let me post the ES levels. Really? Not my phone. Let me turn that down. There we go. And let's get to there we go. Okay, everything's posted. I'm pretty relaxed. I am looking for my trade setups as they come along. Let's go highlight where the biggest rotations are up and down. So yeah, we get spotting of those. Okay, biggest push up. Was right off the open. We got to get above or below that. That's the opening. That's the opening balance, right? Biggest push down is this. And that was at 6 in the morning. Yeah. That's right at that yellow line. That's pretty interesting. So what I am looking for is the same as yesterday. Divergences with new highs. So I want to know where the high was on my oscillator, right? So I can see as I'm pushing up, I'm getting divergence. I know I'd rather be underneath the opening balance. I'm going to get a trade. And really, if I'm going to short that, I need a level, right? So remember, what am I doing constantly? I am looking at this, right? See how this whole level here, that 5-minute chart? So everyone should have it, right? I know I'm pushing into a massive 64 to 72 area, right? That's what it was. That was the anomaly. I didn't freaking make that up. That's the gap fill, right? That whole area is valid, right? So I know that I want location. And since I'm not bearish at the moment, I'd rather find locations from the bottom to push up, right? We've already been down a bunch of days in a row, okay? So that's what ES looks like right now. And it's the first half hour, and I know I have a FOMC member speaking. I'm not overly eager to be shorting it one way or the other, right? If I was going to short it, what I'd want to short is just like yesterday, is I'd want to see a cross on my oscillator, right? And then I'd want to see after I get the cross. So see how I'm not crossed down, so there's no reason for me to short unless I'm getting clear divergence, something like this here, right? And again, this is right at the open, so you kind of have to give it a grain of sand, right? And then I want this this little differential to go negative if I'm going short and positive if I'm going long, right? So here's, oops. So that's ES. There's nothing for me to do right now. If it crosses and pops negative, maybe, right? We are getting divergence into the high, but that doesn't mean a whole lot in and of itself, right? So next, and again, it's very important that that pops negative before I take the trade. Then my stop will go on preferably wherever, if there's a fractal there is what I'd really like, right? If it doesn't go negative, I don't want to take it. And if there's not a fractal, I'm hesitant to take it, right? The best is when there's a fractal and it closes underneath and there's a cross and you're at location, all of it together, right? So remember, this is going to serve as support. That's the opening balance for the first 30 seconds. It usually gets defended, right? There's going to be people trying to push longs out of this, okay? On NQ, pretty much the same thing, right? Here's the high rotation, like over here, right? I can see clearly when I draw this out, I've got new highs in price, but I've got divergence here. Got my biggest wave down here. So see how you end up with contradicting pieces of information? That's a big down wave. If we get on top of that, right? See, look how much effort they put to the downside there. It's the biggest down wave. Look, there's nothing to the downside. Those shorts are screwed. You got to get underneath these guys. If I'm not underneath these guys, I'm very hesitant to short. As a matter of fact, just quite the opposite. What I'd like for them to do is dip into this and set me up for a long side rotation for a push up. They put double effort there right out of the gate to push lower and nothing, right? Just absolutely nothing. Had I seen that push, I probably would have attempted a long right here with a stop underneath this fractal, right? Because that is a big push. And then again, you could have taken it right here. Again, the stop would have gone underneath the fractal. Nothing for me to do there. And then what's the next piece in that puzzle is where am I with, and CL is on freaking fire, by the way, guys. And when I mean on fire, it's straight up. Literally, it's straight up. So see this blue here, I'll show you in a second. Just cautious on the shorts there. Okay, it's been down a bunch of days in a row. Okay, so C and Q. Okay, I don't want to short. That whole blue area can get traded through really easily. I have evidence that they tried to short and failed, right? I want to get underneath these guys or see a really large push above, right, to manage this trade or get all the way up here or all the way down here. So if you're new to day trading, right, that means you wait patiently. That's the hardest area to trade in, right? And I don't have to be Mr. Perfect. Now see that right there, how we're already aiming down as we pushed up? So that I might try to short, right? That I might try to short, but hold on one second. Let's see something here real quick. So I wasn't quick enough on it, but I would have shorted that bar, right? Okay, if I short that bar, let me correct myself. What did we just have happen, right? We pushed up into this anomaly, which was a light blue anomaly. I actually ended up with divergence. See how this started sloping down right here? So I'm comparing my 5-minute chart to the chart I'm looking at, right? They should have been able to push. Now they're backside testing this, right? What changed my mind? Speed bar fractal shift down with the bar post on the low. So I wanted to closing underneath. I wanted to short that bar right there. And what was going to be my challenge? Getting underneath this wave. So see how I was like, I'm not anticipating the short, but then I got the information, right? Pushing up, divergence, fractal, shift down, speed bar. I want to short this bar, stop at that 75.90. You had to be lightning quick to get that, but that's what I would have wanted to take, right? And you can see, had I taken this bar right here, my entry would have ended up being, if we push that out, right? So see how and what that's helping me with is I have no anticipation that it's going to set up. But let's say I could have had a sell stop on that when I saw it coming. I didn't move fast enough. That would have been 75 for 67. That's enough for me almost by itself, right? If I can just capture that little down move, I'm all good. And because I had the fractal on top, and that's the first roll down. So what am I pushing into? Now I have the point of control underneath this wave, right? So now what would I anticipate? I'm going to look for a push back up, right? I'm going to look for a push back up. I like it either to hold that 50-60 or here's the base of the last push up. And notice they're coinciding with each other. So see if we push back up to that 75-76 area, I can do it one of two ways. If I want to be aggressive, I can assume that we are coming up and I can take this short against the high. It's lower odds because it's better when you catch it as it's breaking, or I can wait for a whole cycle to go through here, hopefully get another fractal set up for a push to the downside. I just wasn't ready. I didn't have my domes set up in the right location. I got to see something here really quick. Really? That's fascinating. Oh, well, that's not good. Hold on one second here. What does my message log say? It says nothing. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. Disconnect. Disconnect. Connect. Connect. Give it a sec. It'll be up. There we go. Now I have them all set properly. It's taking a minute. Okay, so that shows you the power of the setup. It was really fast. Like you had to be actually anticipating that was coming in order to catch it. You had like a split second. But look at from where the entry was, which would have been right here at 75.76, right? 20 freaking points just right out of the gate. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. That was perfect. It had divergence. It didn't look good to the short side until all of a sudden it did. And I'm looking for this setup specifically right here to find my shorts and my longs, both in ES and NQ and CL and the Russell, right? So yesterday afternoon, again, if you watch that video, you don't have to catch them in the morning. If you can't, if you just wait patiently, they set up in the afternoon too. So multiple opportunities to catch those trades, right? And if we look at wrong chart, there we go. There we go. If you look at ES, you will see as we get to the top, we diverged, we crossed. There's the shift down. So we got that shift down. You just use that stop. That would have been your entry, 28.64. And you can see we had no big deltas over here. Now we've pushed, gotten underneath our last rotation up. There's your 3 across, right? We've gotten underneath that. And now we are potentially rolling to the downside. Remember, we have a Fed speaker in 5 minutes, so that puts me totally on hold till we're done with it because I don't like screwing around with news. Okay, and here's CL. Lastly, again, I have all these charts and 5-minute bars on my other screens. Okay, so no one should be going, hey, I didn't know that was support, or I didn't know what location I was looking for a trade. Although I'll grant you, I am missing one chart. ES, CL, NQ. Ah, there we go. Size that down correctly. And boy, my girls were just two little 2.5-year-old monsters this morning. I was like, what is going on? And she's like, they're totally just out of control. So we had to have a little talk before we got in the car about appropriate and inappropriate behavior. Of course, I probably need that talk sometimes myself, but okay. And if you look on CL, pay no attention to the red and green lines. I haven't integrated them completely, right? Okay. So I probably would not have. So the only reason I would have captured this to see how we had speed bar, fractal, shift up, right? I probably would have taken it right here, even though we didn't have the cross with the stop underneath, that would have set me up with the stop. Remember, this is a 7-range bar. That would have set me up with a entry at 61.62 and a stop at 61.46, less than 20 ticks, right? That's totally acceptable. And look at the rip to the upside. So I'm going to have to do a better job of being ready before 8, 9 a.m. on some days. That's just the way it's been going lately. Usually I can be pretty chill going into the first hour. And now I'm looking for the opposite of this setup on top, on bottom, big wave down, right? So you want to keep up with the waves. Why is it the damn line here? I cannot get, all I need is this bar, right click, configure control bar 2, get rid of this, move, 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 remove. Okay, there now. Son of a gun, it's still not enough. Right click. Let's try that. There, now I can get to it. That to that, right? I've got to get above. Above that point today, right? Watch out for an ugly, massive short squeeze. That's what that blue line means, okay? The mid of that wave, by the way, will serve as resistance. On a backside test, I would expect rejection out of there first time in. And on ES, same thing here. See how big that wave was? Wait, that's wrong. But it's a good example. Big wave down. And then obviously that's the high of the day, so no joke that would really push. Damn, that hurts to have missed that. Oh, I did it on the wrong freaking chart, didn't I? Yes, I did. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So big wave, next wave. So again, getting above that yellow line, see how that's initial balance would push us back the other way. And now I'm looking for the same trade the other direction. That's really too bad. Look at that. So see how we were already crossed to the downside right there? See that anomaly right there? Shift down, and we were already underneath. That short, so that's a hard short to take because of the stop. You have to cut size. But that short is usually pretty good. That's really unfortunate because it was just too far away. The first one was fantastic. That was this right here. That bar. That was your short. Now look at the roll down. So, anyways, I was slow on the uptake there, but we'll catch plenty of them. So I'm not particularly worried about it. Okay, so we can settle in a little bit now, right? And see if we can find some trades. Apparently, I just missed the most fantastic trade of the day. Now we have the Fed speaker speaking, right? So I'm looking, remember the most important thing I want off that bottom, even if these aren't crossed, is that fractal speed bar with the variance right here in the middle going positive. I will take the stop on that, right? On almost all products, okay? So just be aware, like on CL right now, it's drawn back a bit. It's drawn back to the mid, right? See how it hasn't turned yet? But see this? See how you get fractal, shift, and then that first negative bar right there? I'll take that against the stop of the high, even if these haven't crossed yet. Okay, and that's on the 7-range CL chart. I'll take that because you often get this. So now the same thing here. So there's no fractal here. There's no speed bar. There's nothing for me to do, right? So just flipping positive by itself, I'm looking for the combo of all three products. And I'm watching, of course, what my chart looks like. So right now on NQ, 7520 area is my next support area. CL is just backside testing all these blue areas that we've gone through overnight. Okay. This is a shit area. That's all I can say. All right. I'm just scalp sitting there. I'm not trying to press anything. You can trade both ways. Really? This freaking monitor is driving me nuts. No, I do not want this. There we go. And then ES, we're in the 56, both NQ and ES are in the 50-60, the mid of yesterday's range, right? And right below those blue anomalies. So here's ES, it's into the mid, okay? From yesterday, bulls will want that to hold, right? And again, I would strongly suggest you have this on another chart. And NQ is pushing right back to the 62. I am looking for a potential long out of here if it'll set up into the 75.21 area. So I'm sorry I was a little bit slow there on the turn because that was a fantastic short and I just did not capture it. So see how see how this is not crossed up and I have this fractal here, but if I can get a speed bar fractal and this turns positive, I'm good to take this here, particularly on NQ, right? And yes, this is at the mid. As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now, I have it loaded to take if I need to. Right, I'm watching it very closely all the way down to 75.20. Okay, it's not there yet. It is diverging. See how you can see at the bottom there? This is slightly angled up. This is clearly angled down. I want a speed bar up, turns into a fractal, and this to turn positive. I'm long, right? Same thing. There is no divergence yet. See how price is pushing down and this is pushing to a new low? Okay, nothing for me to do here. Okay. Nope, not yet. Daniel, if you see anything, let me know, buddy. Same thing with you, Bill. That would have been very nice. See how they're pushing down here? Right, there's the wave you got to get above right now. No fractal yet. I'm about to get one. No, no fractal. You have the cross, right? You just need this to stay positive if possible. I wanted a fractal shift up. You don't always get it. Big press down, right? They can't get underneath here. It'll pop that back up. So they have new lows coming up. See how you had no fractal? You need the speed bar to form when it didn't. It killed. As a matter of fact, you got the opposite. Damn, too bad we missed that short off the top. Sorry, guys. And then the anomaly is at 75.21 to 75.08. If we can get there. So as we're pushing, see how we're diverging, we're crossed up, but we're still pushing down in price. I want to see the turn come out of this. The other thing is speed bar and then close above that 36. That's a good long for me as well. Okay. With that shoved down. But I don't see it yet. NQ is down 66, ES is down 22. New lows on ES and NQ. I can't believe I just missed a 100-point rip off that short 75.80. Okay, so 60-point rip nonetheless. Coming into the anomaly at 75.21 to 75.08. And CL's just trading through chop. There's nothing to do for me here. So I can actually kind of sit back and relax. That's good. Into the 75.21 to 75.08 anomaly on NQ. ES, the support is 28.47 quarter, 28.44. And CL's whatever. It's all in those blue zones. See how we're just slowly melting? There's no buy pressure. That's trend day down. Like look at the 5, right? That's trend day down behavior, right? You don't have to be too eager to catch the trend on that. That's trend day down. See that? Come back to retest this structure here on the left. Okay. Into the anomaly. Again, I've got nothing. Like I need at least a speed bar, fractal, shift up, or something to make me want to take the trade. That means that I may miss the turn there, right? I need something to make me want to take that trade. Right now I got nothing. Other than I still have lower prices and a diverging oscillator. Damn, I missed the short. That was freaking fantastic. That's frustrating. Not the same as I've got to do something about it, but that is. Starting to diverge on the ES as well on the oscillator, and both of those are in support areas. Although NQ sure looks like it wants to slice through. Trend day down, I would say at this point. Wouldn't be an insane thought. All the way to the back of that anomaly. Again, the cool thing is this hasn't fired one long all the way through there. Unfortunately, it fired the perfect short. I didn't get it. So I will strive to be ready earlier in the day. And I just have to, as I get things settled, I'll be here earlier and earlier, and I'll have charts done earlier and earlier. Cross down. Coming back to test the anomaly on CL down there at the bottom for those you have CL up at 61.48. Damn. That's a painful short to miss. If you want to be super aggressive on that ES, that shift up right there, stop at the low, you may have to take it twice. Okay. Hasn't printed yet. And this, so see if this bar prints right here, there's no anomaly down here is the problem. So you need a speed bar, an anomaly, something, right? You don't want to take this just by itself. You can, stop goes right there at the low, right? If the bar prints, right? And the stop will go right there at 28.44, right? Maybe 28.37. So see that right there? You would take that against the low, right? So see how it printed right there, flipped up, right? But you're still diverging. So what you're looking for is that going to turn it, or is that just a quick head fake before it rolls back to a new low, right? Same thing right here. See that speed bar? You want to see that turn into a fractal. And what you don't want is the low to break, the 44.25, right? And then what do you have to get above? Keep doing the work, right? Got to get above that rotation down, which means 28.50 is your hurdle, right? So it's doubtful they make it very easy, right? And it's pretty much been straight down, and usually catching a falling knife is a pretty damn difficult job, right? So, but it's a good example. This turned into an anomaly, which it didn't, right? So this isn't crossed, right? So what you're betting on is if you take this is that it will cross, and where it's coming out of, right? What we're coming off of in a trend down environment is they're trying to hold this anomaly right here and this base off to the left. Okay. What do I want? I want to see this turn positive, right? And even before this turns, what I would have liked to actually see, right? So let me take you back to what I'd like to see. Okay. So I knew I wanted to jump on it. I just didn't have my duns ready, right? So we're pushing fractal shift down, right? And divergence through here, new high price. We're already crossed underneath and pushing down. That, right? That is a freaking, please load me up on the trade. This is a, well, kind of, maybe, not really, sort of. It really looks like it's just pushing up to come back and flip back around and push back to the downside, right? Same thing here. This is crossed down. Now, could it lift? Sure. Do I trust it? Nopers. Not in the least, right? So that's my 2 cents. I need something, some kind of evidence from the algos to tell me what I'm looking for over here. Otherwise, I can wait. Yeah, we're pushed. We're down 82 on NQ. We're down 25 on ES. I still need this other part to line up for me. Sorry, wrong thing. There we go. So there's shift up, fractal, but it's too late. I want that right off the bottom, and we're still not crossed, right? So my guess is if we this flips back the other way, we'll get another leg down. Same thing over here. We're still not crossed, right? I wanted it the opposite of what it's offering, and that's why I did not take it, because that's not what I'm looking for, okay? And I'm very specific. I know what I'm looking for here, right? It's a combination of several things all at once so that I can get a high win rate. And if it flies or news comes out or that level holds, right? So I know NQ is in a key level. I'm not confused about that, right? I'm not confused. We're below the mid of yesterday's push up, back into the prior day's balance area, into this anomaly. I know that anomaly is a support area. And as it's doing its job, yeah, it's stopping it, right? Its tracks. It's just not reversing it, right? Same thing on ES, right? ES is pushed into the anomaly, pushed into the anomaly. Is it stopping it? Yep. Is it reversing it? Nope, not yet. So I want all the pieces to come together, right? And if I miss my trade, who cares? Meaning up top, right? There's no reason for me to get all upset. Well, usually people miss the long, I'll get the long, right? And they start burying themselves. My suggestion is not to do that, right? Let it cross, let this flip negative, so there you have a fractal, right? If we could get this to go negative, so see how you have the fractal right here? If we could get this to go negative, or if you want to be aggressive, use the fractal against the low of the day, but that's not a great combo right there. It's okay. And then most importantly, right, here's the biggest wave down. See this? Here to here. Let me see that here. Clearly the biggest wave down. We get above the mid of that, I'd actually be more comfortable taking it above the mid of the wave than I would trying to bottom pick it without a proper setup, right? Bottom picking on trend day down is a brutal ass business. You just get, it's ugly, right? So now it's starting to cross, and I know I'm likely to reject from this area first time in anyways. I want to be above, and what I'd like to do, the most ideal situation from a wave standpoint is to get above, backside test into here, get everything to reset for a pop to the upside. Now that's fantasy trade because it doesn't set up too often, but when it does, it's pretty, right? So I know what I'm looking for. I'm not down, and I got all freaking year long to make money. So I can wait. Odds are we'll have a good day somewhere in here. Actually, and if I look at it correctly, right, had I been ready to go here, if it hadn't been for Fed speaker and I'd taken that, I just would have ripped. My entry would have been 75.80. I just ripped 80 points. I actually probably be packing it in and going it, doing whatever there is to do on Friday when there's no one to bother me. Bother's the wrong term, but my wife has absolutely nothing for me to do would be a better term. So this is starting to cross over here. And what I would like to see is for this to start to lift, price to come down, just like on top, right? This to lift, price to come down, and then this to flip positive, or get above this fractal to the downside. I know I'm going to run into trouble right here, just FYI. Okay, and I see what the problem is here. Now I have it right. Same on ES. I'd like this to lift, push to new price lows, right? And I'd like an anomaly shift up. Speed bar fractal shift up would be the best, along with one of these popping to the upside, right? Doesn't want to give it to me yet. They are trapping shorts down here, by the way, just in case you haven't figured that out. And it's really quiet, if you'll notice, right? That's not a great place to be shorting. Plus you're down 83 points. Plus you're into trying to break an anomaly. None of that sets up for fantastic go type of short situations. So it is trend down. That's all they have. And we're trading 5-minute bar over 5-minute bar to the downside. So I'd expect some kind of attempt at a lift in here somewhere. So now you've got this cross, fractal, speed bar, cross, right? And if it holds the low, which it has to now, right? Now you're set up for a potential roll back to the upside. The low on that is, well, whatever it is. Okay, so that looks all right there. Fractal shift up. Now I can make a trip up to the mid of that. And it's got to hold 75.0250. Okay, so see that? We were crossed above, right? We pushed back. There's your 3 across right at the bottom, right? Now we're closing above. It's probably going to come right to this mid. They just took a long time to do it instead of slow motioning it. What I wanted was this right here the first time, and they didn't want to give it, right? And we weren't crossed yet. So they came back in, they pressed, they had nothing on the press. If you get above that 75.40, watch out. There's a long way to go above. And my guess is we're going to reject right out of that 75.29 first time in. We'll see. But that's what this combo right here. So it would be a 75.13 against a 75.04.50 or 75.02 stop. It was basically a 10-point stop. You just have to see the bars forming, why it's so important that you actually have it on your desktop so you can set it up properly. And I missed the turning oil. I was focusing. That's all right. See how we're going to stop right here in the mid of that big wave down? And the idea would be, so now I'd like to get set up on a backside test of that mid, get above 75.40, and then come back and test that mid on the other side for a long. And it's best when this all lines up simultaneously. Like this turns positive, this prints with this flipping up positive, right? When that all goes together, that's a powerful combination. You get big pushes. Instead, see how we just came right back to the mid of the last delta wave, that big delta wave, and rejected? And that's exactly what you would expect. There's no energy there. The next area down is 74.80 and a retest of yesterday's low. That 75.21 was also the test of the 62 retrace on the backside. And I missed CL, son of a gun. Brain's not working as fast as I'd like it to. So we're going to come back in for a retest of the low, and you can see there's just no energy off of that, right? So this is crossed up, and what we'd like to see is this lifting and come in and set a new low and then flip around on it again, right? So see, as soon as this turned negative right here, that bar right there, the problem is the stop is so far away and you're shorting into a hole down 81 points. So if you took this short, you do have fractal shift down against the mid of that wave. But just remember, getting in the habit of shorting down 82 points, 90% of your career is going to be a pretty deadly event. Yeah, I agree. I was looking for it and I missed it. Again, we're just in this blue crap. And right back down to the base again. That sure looks like it wants to go and retest the lows from yesterday. So, and look at the size of the delta waves, like they're minuscule. See that? Compared to the down wave there, right? And that will change when you see a big delta wave up. Let me change this a little bit. Again, if you wanted to be hyper aggressive, that's usually a good place to tag off a short. I don't like shorting down 80. Plus, I missed a short off the high, right? So why am I going to go and flip that around? So now see how we're starting to push new lows? This keeps pushing up. If this flips positive again, or this flips positive again, I'll attempt the long. What I really want is for it to form speed bar fractal shift up. See how we're pushing underneath the low? And I see how the delta bars aren't increasing significantly. So now that adds another piece to the puzzle, right? So now I know, notice that wave starts right there. Get above that now, I probably can push to the top of the wave, right? What I want to see, this flip positive. Again, all of that comes within a 5-minute context, right? Let me be clear. NQ and ES charts pretty much look the same. That is as trend day down on a 5-minute chart as you freaking get. Okay, so all of that is catching freaking falling knives, and it's a hazardous profession, short-lived. I am watching this closely. And CL can best be described as imbalance. And good node, catching knife right there. Watching. See that? That is freaking good. If it'll turn and trap back in. This is crossed, but that's not that big a deal at this point. Next support level is down at 74.80, down to 74.68 on NQ. So the support worked, and pausing it didn't reverse it, right? Daniel, do you have a read here, buddy? Down she goes. Nothing to do. I already missed the short, so it's not like I'm going to chase it into the hole. Remember, there's at some point today, highly likely that the president is going to tweet something, right? And that this thing's going to explode one way or the other. If you're not prepared for that and the stop or the win that'll come along with that, my suggestion is you don't trade today because you know it's coming, right? The odds of him staying silent on it, whether you like the president or not, doesn't matter, are incredibly low. You gotta love it. So Daniel's just out of college. I go, hey, are you in the room? And he's like, I just woke up. I was like, I remember when I used to get up at 9:30 in the morning. Long time ago, but I remember. There's nothing for me to do here, guys. And the divergence is gone. It's just continuation to the downside. And you know what I am with that? Totally freaking fine. I had the short right at the peak. It would have been a home run. And I didn't miss I haven't lost a freaking penny on this whole move down. Totally cool with that. That is, as a matter of fact, fantastic, right? Because everyone who tried to buy support levels, 50, 60 retraces, all that, they're having a pretty miserable morning at this point, right? I'm not. And no one in the room should be. That's good, right? I missed a trade or two, but I missed my short. I generally don't trade before 9 a.m. So if it sets up before 9, that kind of sucks for me. And I generally don't trade in front of a Fed speaker. So actually, I never trade in front of a Fed speaker. So not a big deal. Somewhere in here we turn or we reset, one of the two, and I'll catch a trade. Probably a good one. Into the next support level and prior day's low. Wouldn't be shocked to see a response off that 78.41 down 111 on NQ, down 33 on ES. Again, it'll probably just go berserk when whoever tweets something. But until then, I'm pretty cool on the chill. There's no reason for me to fight this. It's straight up trend day down. I'd be very cautious on trying to catch a falling knife. It can be a very painful event. So for me, this day is already successful because I'm not destroyed. Again, I'm looking for divergences on these things. Okay. And I don't have them yet. By the way, so I want to restate that actually. We do have in sense a divergence. So that's the low right now. All right. It's way, way freaking deep in there. So just be aware of that. And I'd be very cautious on trying to, like I said, capture anything on that until you get the proper setup. You're looking for speed bar fractal shift up. That's what you're looking for. And you've got time. They're clearly just annihilating it. And that is ugly. Wow. I had the short and I missed it. Too bad. Let's let him set it up someplace else. Huge wave. Be aware of that on NQ. Biggest down wave, right? So just like last time, I'm interested in the mid of that wave, getting above, right? I'm not interested in shorting at this point. Okay. Yes. This is what I have to get above. That starts to rebuild things. And wherever that wave ends, the mid of that wave is also interesting to me. Doesn't seem to matter right now, does it? And it went so fast off that bottom. Did you see that? It was just massively fast when it reversed. It's way deep in the hole there. All right, but we have time. We want actually the opposite of this. Instead of this lifting like this, we'd like this to turn and this to push down like this is the better setup. All right, so this is just coming up for air is all it's doing. There's the base of that biggest wave down. That's going to serve as resistance now. There's that wave over here. All right, so the mid of that wave is right there. Right, and when it moves fast like this, guys, it doesn't bother me because there's just nothing I can do. When it's going to spring that fast, right, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just not quick enough to catch it, right? Like when it goes 40 to 64 in a heartbeat, I literally would have had to have a computer, like it was just seconds. That whole move was just in seconds, right? So it can't move that fast. Like I'd had to get over to that screen and put the order in, right? This whole move occurred. Like I saw it pop positive right here, right? But that's 41. Like that whole move from 42.50 to 67 took, like that was 1 minute. Like even if I took 10 seconds, I was already over here. So that's just part of the ultra high volatility that you get at the bottom. And I'm going to miss that. At least I saw it, but there's no way to get over to it. And we're still flat out trend day down. And then news will come out and it'll go up 100 points in 2 seconds. That's all right. That's part of a news environment. If it was just a tad bit slower, we could catch those turns and still scalp out of them, even if it's not done. So as this starts to turn up, the best thing that can happen is this starts to turn. So I want to show you the picture of what it looks like, right? Oops. Okay. What it looks like is this. Okay, hold on. Let's see. So, okay, so see, this is where we turned. So see that fractal right on top, shift down, and we hadn't turned yet. I'm still willing to short that right there in a slower market. That was 5 in the morning, right? But what we really want, I'll give you a long setup view of that. Okay. So see how this was the low all the way back over here? And you go into Asia. Okay. See how we're pressing back into those lows and there's no give here, right? And then this flips positive. There's a fractal and that's a shift up. And when that bar shifts positive, it's right here, right on this bar. Speed bar shift up. There's no fractal, but speed bar shift up. That's what I'm looking at, right? See how much deeper we are? See how we couldn't break that delta wave? See how we have this little wave down? We try to get underneath it with no delta. That's what I'm looking for the push. I'll show you another example of what I'm looking for. Okay, see this right here? How price is pushing up. I mean, the oscillator is pushing up, price is pushing down, and we flip positive. So a ton of divergence through here, right? And then right here, it's before the cross, but just before the cross, right? We flip up on that speed bar. I'm willing to take a long on that. So you could say, well, Simon, what about over here? See how there's no speed bar over here? So nothing we can do. Where am I taking my stop against? The low. It's not optimal, but it's pretty damn close, right? And then again over here, you'll see how we try to lift over here. I realize this is Asia, so let me try to find it in the US session. Okay. Okay. See how we start to lift? starting here. See how this crosses and starts to lift, but we're getting flat divergence. Price isn't going anywhere, right? And if you look, so see right here, I already know that the oscillator is lifting, and we get that fractal speed bar right there. See that? I'm willing to take that long against that low, even if I were to get stopped at it, taking it again right here for this push to the upside. That's a good push. Like you're entering literally on this bar, okay, which is 74.98. The low is 74.87, 86. It's a 13-point stop, and it rolls you all the way up to 75.22. It's a 20-point trade, right? It's not fantastico, but it's pretty good. I don't know what support and resistances were there, right? In addition, when I look over to the left, see how that's my biggest push down right there? So see how I'm just like I'm doing now? I'm highlighting the wave. Daniel, you're killing me, brother. In the room. In the room. About to change my phone number. Right? And I highlight that. See, once I get above the mid of that wave, see how, even if it doesn't hold perfectly, right? Now I can start going, okay, we've gotten above the mid. That's the first clue. And then secondly, I get above the wave over here, right? Now, look once I finally truly clear it and on the backside test. So see on this backside test right here where we roll back down and we haven't crossed yet. So we go into this consolidation. So if I know I'm backside testing that, I'm going to take that wave. I'm going to take that first flip up right here against that low. And then if we cross, which we do right here, I'm going to want to take that flip right there for the continuation higher. Okay, so that's why I don't have to worry about trying to capture the low like over here, right? Okay, I don't have to screw with this. It may work, may not work, but that's not what I wanted, right? I didn't want it to turn at an extreme and just go. I wanted it to set me up properly for my entry, my exit, and my stop, right? Otherwise, right? Otherwise, I'm totally screwed anyways. It doesn't help me out at all, right? So this will end up being a speed bar shift down, and I'm still just testing the base of that biggest wave down. See how nothing's happened yet? And I don't have a fractal or a shift down, so I don't want to short it, right? I want all of this to coincide together. Now, I can't short this against this high right here, right? If I want to, I just have to be willing to take the stops on it when it doesn't work for the roll back to the downside, right? And that's a more challenging setup. 119 points in the hole, right? So it's just something to think about. That's all. It's not there yet. See that? You got to give it time. It's probably going right here. And that sucks. It was just so far in the hole, you couldn't do anything with it. Unless there was news out that I'm not aware of. Again, divergence is the best way to set up that trade. It's too bad we didn't get it there. It was way deep in the hole. Now, if it doesn't get above that fractal, you have a chance of it rolling lower. Let's see that. Which is 82. So it should come back up one more time, hopefully, and retest that area. Sorry, I forget that I have these on two separate screens. There we go. And notice that we came to the mid of the last rotation down and we're now above it, right? So on ES, if this flips positive and we're above the mid, I'm going to assume they're going to try and break that wave back to the upside, but they've given two big pushes here with little to no success, right? And NQ is really freaking weak. Seven minutes until we come up on London close. 7 minutes till the top of the hour, 30 minutes, 36 minutes till London close. Damn, that was really nice right at that bottom, but it was just so quick you couldn't get it. Expect algos that can be pretty vicious going to the top of that 10 o'clock hour. You can get some really fast, violent moves at that 10 o'clock time frame. I've had a lot of stops. People in this room have had a lot of stops setting up what are otherwise good trades right at that 10 o'clock. Fractal shift up, on a shift down, on a cross down. Too bad these are all already negative. Otherwise, that'd set up for me for a short. The speed's going to be challenging today, guys. Just know that till it slows down a little bit because everyone's piling in at one shot, right? So if you'll give me a minute, I'm going to go refresh my coffee and we'll see where we're at after the 10 o'clock algos fire. And the 10 o'clock hour algos are done. Just flip negative. Look how big the range is. There is the first flip negative. There is the next flip negative. Wow. New lows, yes. Look at the divergence on that. So just heads up. Again, it's trend day down, right? And there's a mid of a half gap sitting at 75.29 to 75.22 with a Dalton's gap fill around 75. Excuse me, NQ 74.29 to 74.22 is the mid of a half gap. Okay. And that's as trend down as it gets. This is Dalton's gap fill. This is an anomaly, and this is an anomaly again, which is why it's important that you have the 5-minute bars in front of you so you can see this easily and it doesn't throw you, right? It's unfortunate not to be short. I don't chase into the hole, so I don't feel bad about that, right? Here's ES, right? That's what's coming up is right below. That's your target lower. There we go. 28.20, 28.13. That's only, it's a questionable anomaly, but it's at a round number. And then 27.85, right? So it's been straight down. No one 5-minute bar is closing over another. No one should be getting murdered here. No one should be getting murdered here. I just want to be clear on that, right? This is pretty freaking straightforward stuff, okay? This is the low that we're pressed into. So see that? That's usually pretty good right there. So if you can get in and you can tolerate that stop against 44, that's usually pretty good for a potential short. Too many people shorting into the low. So hopefully we get a press back, and I will attempt against that 52 against whatever the low is there on NQ. I'm in trend day down. So realize if you're trading it, son of a gun, they're not going to give it to me. It's going so fast. I can't get to it. The low is 43. So I don't want to take a 15-point stop, right? I'll see if they'll give me a chance to come back against it. I mean, damn, it was fast. I guess it was actually on this bar right here. It's 57 against 43. It's a freaking big stop, right? And all they're doing there, by the way, is holding that double bottom. Do you see that? So that's everyone that was looking for the double bottom and pressing. You can see the delta's falling off there. Here, I'm going to stand up and see if I'm any freaking quicker on catching these trades than I've been, but it's a little freaking frustrating, right? They're moving it so fast, but I can't get over to my domes in time to freaking take it. I mean, son of a gun. I need a computer to execute it almost. I mean, look at that. You had a second to consider the stop, and it was a 58 against a 44. It was 14 points, almost $300 a contract. That's pretty brutal. I suppose you could take in 48 and just use we could take in the 58 and just put a 10-point stop on there and hope that it worked, but not my style, right? I really needed to do a little bit of this to get into the dance, right? So we'll see what it does. Too many people got short down there, and you could see, look at the divergence into the low. But it is frustrating not being able to see it and not be able to catch it. It's just too freaking fast for me. And I'm not willing to just free fall catch it, right? And I've missed numerous trades on CL today as well. So maybe I'm just hungover from the week or something, but I am Johnny Slow. But ES was there. I didn't take it either. So right back into the mid, right, which is a challenge. The mid of that half gap is the ideal location at 74.29. And ES is still trying to hold this anomaly here. See, it's 1, 2 times, and the bars are getting pretty freaking wide in here. Meaning there's a lot of volume when you see that going off in there. Guys, I apologize. It's so fast, I literally cannot get turned in time to see it. And if you look, the reason for that is look at NQ. See how we're just whipping through those 5-minute bars up and down, right? So I want the pace on the turns to slow just a little bit. I'd rather actually have this back and forth process so I can get in and press it versus having to grab it for a 30-point run right off the low. It's just freaking hard to do it that way, right? Same on ES. I'd like it to actually consolidate down here a little bit and build up some shorts and make people convinced it's actually going lower instead of everyone trying to capture the turn. That's why when we're turning so freaking fast because everyone's trying to catch the turn, right? But where the better turns come from, so sometimes that works great, right? If you can capture it, that's great. But I'm literally having milliseconds to make a trading entry. I just can't get to my domes quick enough to set them up. I wish I could, but I'm not. So I can't even get my proper size ordered in. Like I can't configure everything I need quick enough. And usually I'm pretty damn quick on it. I can't. And I'm concerned about sending large size orders on half size. I mean, large size orders at market. I'm afraid I'll end up getting 5 and 10-point rips, goofing it, right? So if you see when we came up here and see how we're pushing back up. Okay, so you have to have this on another screen so you can see it, right? See how this is the wave? That's the biggest wave down. We got to get above the mid of this wave to do anything constructive back to the upside, right? Or get another big wave. So even if you get this, like see if we get above this wave now off the bottom, right? We get above that, we're still gonna have to work past the mid, get above the top of the wave, hopefully backside test it for a push to the upside, right? That's what I'd be hunting down, but I can't get it yet, so I'll just wait. And that's why I keep flashing that screen back and forth so I have a picture of what I am looking for. And again, most of the good trades are going to start with fractal shift up. Like that speed bar, even though we weren't cross the speed bar fractal, I tried to grab it. I couldn't get over to it quick enough, right? I almost need my order entry done on a separate computer at this point because just switching from screen to screen, I missed the trade. And London close could be pretty freaking interesting. Remember, everyone's going to be betting on a London low close, right? And that may work out, but that trade gets pretty damn crowded when everyone figures it out and can create some pretty vicious short squeezes up, even if you're in the context of trend day down. And again, I would have this chart up. All right, there's your 5-minute look, right? That is as trend down day as it gets, right? We're just consolidating down here at the bottom, right? But we could easily come down and visit that 2820. That's not the same as me being bearish in the hole, right? I'm just saying this is still making lower lows and lower highs, right? There's not a lot constructive about that from a long standpoint, right? And here's what's likely to happen. President sends out a tweet. Tweet will go something like this. Chinese realize how serious we are about raising tariffs. They have come back to the table and started negotiating in good faith, or something to that extent, right? Bam, everything will fire. ES will be up an immediate 30 points. NQ will be up an immediate 100 points, right? And the whipsaws will be freaking insane. Nothing we can do about that, right? You're either positioned correctly and you get lucky and happen to be long when it happens, or you don't, right? And then the other side of it, if you look in Asia last night, was if you get a story where everyone thinks, oh, that's it, and then it ain't it, watch out for that too. Because what happens is, if you look in Asia last night, because I happened to be watching it just before I left, I forget we were trading, but we traded up 40 points like in 4 minutes on NQ. And then within a minute, it had come all the way back down 20 points. And that's a lot of money if you screw that sequence up. And it may not even been minutes. It may have been seconds. The mid of that half gap is going to be a fantastic attempt. It's actually setting up pretty nicely now. Because look how the dome is setting up. And the chart. See that if you come and test the mid of that half gap, you'd break underneath this consolidation, freak everyone out, slam it in, pop it back up, trap, push the other way, right? So that's a fantasy. Let's see if we get it. And by the way, don't forget to look at your 30-minute time frames for the one timing to end. Right? If you're not down huge today because you didn't catch a falling knife, you're probably better off than 99% of freaking retailer traders out there who've gotten annihilated. Randy, I didn't see when you posted that 10:09. I'd be very cautious going into London close. I know what you were looking at was this right here. Was crossed up that bar right there. Was this what you're looking at right here? Okay, you were correct, right? You were correct. Okay, the problem is, okay, so now go look at the big picture. So it worked, obviously, right? So that puts you right here, right? And your stop needed to be about a point below that. See, this one at 31.50, the low was 32. So I'd put a stop a point below there and you would have gotten it. You were correct. Or you could have taken it right here again. The stop was bigger that time. I would put my stop behind 1 point behind the 33. Basically, each time you take that 36, just calculate a 4-point stop is what I would do on the 1.5 range bar. Does that help? I would not take more than 4 points on a 1.5 range bar on ES. Randy, are we set to do a coaching session this afternoon? Whenever our next coaching session is, I'll throw this up so you have it on your screen, or we'll just set time up 1 of the 2. Let me know when you have some free time this afternoon. I forgot if we had one this afternoon or not. Maybe we didn't. Maybe it was last week. I'm confused. Next week. Okay. So if I get some free time, we'll get this thrown up so you can monitor it yourself. But I would use a 4-point stop on ES. So see how many people tried to press for that low, right? See how big that press was? And now it's recycling, right? They pressed down. They had nothing on it. Now we're above the mid of that. Now they could still tank it here, right? They just haven't yet. Oh, son of a gun. What did I just do? Do not tell me. No, no, no. 20. Chart settings. 10. That should make it quicker. Files, save all. Sorry, I almost screwed that up. I think a lot of people are betting on a close into the low of London. And that's why they're getting squeezed up. And my brain's just not working fast enough. I've left a ton of dollars on the table on CL today. CL running into the close. Damn, I totally missed CL. I apologize, guys. I just had my eyes off the ball. Two minutes till London closed. Again, if you'll notice on the 5-minute bar on NQ and ES, I just want to show this to y'all so you see what's going on. We're just freaking balancing and whipping people back and forth. Do you see that? That's very hard to trade in. Okay, you have to be very skilled to pull that off and not get whipsawed on both sides of that trade. Everyone trying to catch a bottom, they think they got it. Oh, I don't got it. Everyone trying to short for new low. Oh, I get stopped because that range. I look at the size of the range. That's 80 to 50. It's 30-point bars, 5-minute bars, right? Way different than what we've been dealing with before. And that kills retail traders, right? Yes. I feel frustrated that I did not catch that CL. Either way. All right. 38 to 30 to 26, essentially 5 to 10-point bars back and forth going nowhere. So if you're trying to trade it with tight stops, right, just underneath support, just over support, stops taken, stops taken. It's hard to trade in there. Going to new lows on ES at the close, London close. And look how everyone thought. See that? Everyone was going, I bet we get lows into London close. There's London close. Squeezed every freaking late short out, and then 2 minutes till wham, right to the low, right? So just make sure you know what you're doing when you take your trades and that you understand that this environment is fast as living daylights. Yeah, I'm with you, Randy. I agree. I don't disagree with you. Right now, this is your bogey right here on NQ. If it would slow down just long enough, it'd be a freaking awesome day. If we could slow down long enough so I can get my freaking orders in. Get above that. Now you have a chance. Keep in mind to the left, there's a big wave. If you don't have multiple screens, this is really hard. Just FYI, brutally freaking hard. So like at least keep something like this so you can see the picture to the left and go, oh, there's that big mofo wave that I need to get above, right? And you should remember that because whenever we do get above it, it'll be a rocket ship, okay? Fractal no shift up. So that's out of a 9 out of 10. That's pretty good. Also, you got the push down. NQ to the lows, ES not to the lows. And that's because ES is sitting in an anomaly. The next level lower, 2820 to 2813. All the zones have kind of held. They've just been pretty choppy around them. That's all. So that's London close selling. That's what that is. And it can be painful. Really? This is a low. This is essentially flat divergence as we're pushing. If we can get price underneath here and you can't get the fractal lower, that would actually not be a bad setup. CL can get some divergence on this push up here. We set up an interesting short. All right, so if we can turn and then get pushes to new highs, that would be really good. All right, so I have my eyes on it for trade into the close. It's interesting that we pushed down and the differentiation bars never went negative. Yeah, really interesting. NQ new lows, ES no new low, by the way. Very interested in attempting a long above this if we get up here. Again, it sure seems like we're on hold for news at this point, right? It's starting to get choppier and choppier as reflected in the 5-minute chart. Fractal shift up. You get behind that shift up, watch out. If, right, again, we're in the hole, 133 points. So someone's got to assume two things. A, that we're going to get plunge protection somewhere in here because everyone's come to expect it, right? And B, that we may have a random announcement of a deal being announced over New York lunch, right? Neither one of those would be a shock. And in the meantime, we're in balance between 74.80 and 74.43. NQ pushing to CL pushing to a new high at 62.06. And we have 5-minute range balance between 28.28 and 28.40. So just watch out for news as we just gave a pretty nice little pump to the upside there. I haven't seen that pattern before. It's been a long time, or at least I don't remember. It's been a long time since we've actually had consistent down days. But that may be the clue I need to look for turns off the bottom, right? And again, 2 reminders: staying in a constant point of learning, right? A constant point of learning and absorbing. You can't trade all markets. Obviously, you can try. It's very, very difficult. No divergence yet on CL, so there's nothing for me to do there. That's a pretty chart, actually. Here's your last wave down. We've gotten above it. Again, I don't care if I miss the bottom. I've already mission accomplished by not getting destroyed on the way down, right? We've gotten above the last push down. Here's the mid if you're looking to capture that as a low. That's the mid of the last wave down. Bulls will want to see it hold above both the top of the wave and the mid of the wave. All right. So I don't have a setup there. Not yet. We've consolidated for too long, so I'll let them work out whatever it is they need to work out. And just so you know, just to show you the 5-minute areas, again, location matters. Pushes right up into the anomaly, rejection out above, and over under here would set us to push back into the balance range. All right, again, that blue area, see why I didn't want to make any commitments anywhere in here is freaking hard. right? You can see how someone could lose a ton of money trying to trade in that, right? And if it doesn't make it to key areas, at least this you had pretty much decisive in, out, right? And you weren't like, well, maybe, possibly, I don't know, I guess. And again, over here overnight, right? As you can see in the morning, excuse me, we rolled down, we came in, attempted to hold underneath, backside test, rejection, rejection, above, again, a little volatility. So push below, second time above, push back, then sweep through this area again. I do not want to trade that area at all. And there's nothing above to keep us from ripping on CL, by the way. 65.80, I think, is the upper end of that range that we have not retested since we've pushed lower. And again, I'm very hesitant to short minus 133 points on NQ and 37 on ES. Historically, that's been a great formula for how can I kick my own ass. It's a horrible place to short. One day it works, 10 days it crushes you. Back into the mid. If it doesn't trade underneath this 50-60, guys, right, you can literally take 54 against 48 because if it holds that, it'll shoot the other way. But it's a guess. Let me be clear. It is a guess that it won't break the bottom of that, right? You just have no idea. I don't like guessing, especially in a down environment. Back towards the lows. Again, look at the 5-minute chart. It's just balancing. There may be news out. CL just took a pretty quick rip down. NQ and ES all did simultaneously. So heads up on that. Bill, you doing okay today, buddy? I haven't heard much from you. If you're not down, you have all day to let the trade set up for you, right? New lows, NQ. Excuse me a second, guys. Hello? Hey, how are you? Good, thanks. What time are you looking to visit? Until noon. Oops, okay, I'll be by over lunchtime. I'll see you in just a little bit. Thank you. Bye. So, guys, while we're in this lovely Chop Fest, it's 11 minutes till New York lunch. I'm going to go and I've got a prescription I got to pick up. Guys on YouTube, I'm going to kill it. I call this a successful day because no one got killed at the short side. I missed my short trade. I just wasn't ready to take it, and then it was too fast off the bottom, but most days it's not. If you'd like to visit the room, send me an email. It's tradeandperform, TRADENPERFORM @gmail.com. Trade safe. Days like today are not easy. They keep bum crushing people. Anyways, I will talk to everyone. I'll be back. I'm just going to grab it to go thing. So I'll be back in 20 minutes. Talk to you in a little bit. And guys, thank you for joining on YouTube. If you liked it, if you please put a like or a thumbs up or whatever it is they use, it certainly helps me with the YouTube customer service. And I hope everyone trades well, and I hope everyone had a great week. See everyone on Monday.